Welcome, fellas. Another edition of MOHAVE County Football. We have a special guest today, Coach King. Thank you so much for being here. Really excited to have you and get some of your time on your bye week.
Appreciate the invite.
We're going to talk a lot about your game. It seemed like there was a lot of scoring.
Just a bit.
You broke in that new scoreboard very.
We did, yeah.
Was it smoking like all the?
No,
all the new wiring was cooking, or what?
It was an electric environment for sure.
Very cool. So we will talk about the game specifically, but I'd love to get your general thoughts on your season. We talked a little bit before the camera started rolling about, records not really being indicative of your season.
Yeah, I mean, we're sitting here 4-3. Obviously, we'd like it to have gone a little bit better, but everybody knew the schedule we had coming into the year. We embraced that, and we played some real tough teams. We're 4-3. We're ranked 13th right now. The rankings just came out yesterday. That's about where we should be with our record, but we feel like we've been playing better ball than that indicates.
Yeah, and you had mentioned, and I think we see it visually watching the games, like a fairly battle-tested group for a young group halfway through a season, not even all the way through. You're not even into the playoffs, but you look like you have a very battle-tested group of kids who are mentally tough, locked in on the mission, the big picture, and it shows.
Yeah, it's tough to start 1-3, right? I mean, you guys have been around teenage boys in this game. Starting off slow is difficult to keep them
those
rallied.
Moments losing
Yes.
and then right after a loss are real tough.
But this group is special. They see the big picture. They understand that everything they want is still in front of them. Being able to play a top 10 team in Chrisman, being able to play the number 1 team in Ben Frank. We have Seton Catholic coming up. They're 11. Payson's coming up. They're 7. Dysart's always dangerous. And then along the way to be 4-0 in the region right now, that's a testament to the character of our guys and the work they're willing to put in.
And not only that, you've had some, injury adversity. I won't get into the. I'm not happy that Gonzalez was suspended.
Yeah, we
don't touch that with the 10-foot pole.
We went through the process.
You can.
I saw that video.
But you guys weathered that storm. You guys found guys to step up, and I think that's a lot of what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, the guys are super selfless. I know you guys have touched on some guys moving around on the offensive line. We headed into week 4 with 3 or 4 new guys up front. We lost a senior to injury. We lost Mikey for a little bit of time. Wyatt and Deke had to step up and play O-line, something that they're not accustomed to doing. And if you had asked them 3 months ago, they didn't want to do. But we have a selfless group that's willing to do whatever they have to win the game.
It's really funny, and I'm sure you do know, but I don't know if the people know. Deacon is a dominant defensive end, defensive lineman, hops inside, hops outside, stuffs the run, all the stuff. He was a running back when we played.
Yeah, so we have a lot of guys.
He was a running back about, yay big.
With the Odell hair.
Yes.
Yeah.
And to see him, and what's funny is we had always joked that he has so much ability, like he just gets it done. He was not the fastest, but he had vision, he understood.
Sure.
We used to run a lot of read option when he was young, and he'd eat those, where they thought he had the ball. And then boom, he grows. And all of that skill and all those things he developed materialize in that position, and it's really come together.
I mean, we have a lot of lifelong football kids. Deke's one of them. A lot of the guys have been playing since they were real young, so their football IQ is something that not a lot of groups have, and so we lean on that a lot. But really, it's their willingness to be good teammates, fight for the greater good, be selfless, that they all are doing. That's putting us in our position that we're in.
You mentioned football IQ and all those things. Alvarado broke my heart.
Yeah, Alvarado was a tough loss.
Center, so obviously, has to know what's going on. The whole offense starts when he starts. Senior, been playing for a long time, and he goes out early in the year.
Yeah, Adrian and I have a pretty special relationship, I would like to think. Started for us as a sophomore, playing the most important position on the field, in my opinion. and he is one of, if not the most mentally tough kids I've ever met. I'm not kind to the center at all times.
Right.
And he has always embraced that side of our team. And yeah, losing him early, not only losing him early in the season, but losing him early in that game, it was the first defensive snap for him, something he's been dying to do, play defense the last 3 years, and he's put himself in that position to get that nod, and just an unfortunate play. And so we're hoping that we get to play good enough ball long enough to get Adrian back.
Yeah, make a nice playoff appearance. Yep. Tell me a little bit about the kid that backed him up. I mean, you mentioned the importance of the position. Senior, 3-year starter.
Plotkin, correct?
And hadn't really hurt you.
Yeah, no, I mean, Landon is one of our strongest kids in the program. He's a 400-plus squatter. So he has all the physical tools, and he played a few snaps along the way last year as a sophomore. But he started the year at right tackle for us. And, you know, a typical high school practice for us, you're not getting a lot of snaps with the backup center throughout the week. So right away, beginning of that game, he jumps in, and we have not missed a beat with him. So credit to Landon. He's worked his butt off. The rest of the guys around him have done a great job. And then obviously snap into a 3-year starter helps the whole offense for sure.
Absolutely. So we're going to get to your actual game, but you guys really had more of an event this week. And I do want to talk about, before we get lost in the weeds, 'cause I'd love to get your input on all these games, but you guys brought football back to the campus.
Yeah.
And not only was that, has not been done in a while, it took a lot of work, and it came together last minute, and I believe it was homecoming, right?
New scoreboard, correct?
Yes.
So, like I said, it was an event. It was a lot of things came together. Tell me a little bit about, A, where did that all come together from?
Sure.
And then B, how the hell did you pull it off?
Yeah, so, you know, I got this job 3 years ago, and right away it was pretty evident that the community down in River Valley is special. They love that school. They love football. There's some added pressure that comes with that, but we'll take the good with the bad.
Just tell the last coach. Like,
Yeah. So right away, it was kind of a dream and a project that we had talked about. But the old scoreboard didn't work. You know, thankfully, the community passed the bond, and we got the field house, and that's an incredible, you know, event space. But when that happened, our field just became a practice field, just like at the other campus, and scoreboard no longer worked. So that was the first hurdle, is we had to get a working scoreboard.
you didn't want to have those flip over cards,
Right.
You know.
So, you know, thankfully, we have an alum at the school, or in the community, Matt Bates and his family. They stepped up and they donated the scoreboard, and that is not a small purchase by any stretch. So that was step one. That was donated at the end of last year, and so then it was the process of how do we get the rest of the pieces together, and that is making sure the field is ready to go, making sure we actually have uprights. You know, we had the old H's. Kind of flimsy.
It's like they intended in 1925.
Right. So it's, you know, you've got to get all the pieces to make it worth the community's respect and investment. So Bates family comes through with the scoreboard. Chip, a longtime community member, helps us out with the field, planting of the seed. Medi is a big mover and shaker in the community. Got a lot of stuff going with the permit process, which I didn't even know existed.
Liz, you just announced, or you just mentioned some real MVPs in this town.
100%. 100%. People that care about kids, you know.
They have done so much people don't even realize.
They'll let the dust settle. It's kids first for them. Lee with Star Nursery stepped up big for us. Jordan with the gravel pit with Bates did a lot of the legwork, getting the old scoreboard down, installing the goalposts for us. Paul and David doing the electrical work, making sure that the scoreboard was up and running and talking to the press box the way it's supposed to. Kyle and Ford with the steel, getting the actual beams and the support structure in the ground. These holes, first of all, I could get lost in them. They were 6'5" and like 32 inches around. It was incredible. And then Coco and our grounds crew really stepped up to the plate, made it look like an actual Friday Night Lights event. And then, special people in the community on our staff. Mike Montgomery and his family did a tremendous job. And then game time came around and the community packed the stands and supported our boys like they always have. But it was special. And then all of it kind of fell at the feet of our new athletic director, and Amber Mace really pulled us through at the end.
So did it get as close as it seemed? Like, was it like the 11th hour and you guys were wrapping it up, or was that just a little perception?
I mean, we tell the guys all the time the only thing we can promise them is adversity. And we promise that to ourselves maybe a little more than we'd like, but it just solidified again the type of community we have down there at River Valley.
Very
Right.
cool. Very cool. Jeff, we actually did have a couple pictures from that game. I know we're a little out of order, but I thought it was pretty cool. I remember we had one at Mojave years ago, and they walked through the stands, and I saw that you guys had done that and created some really great video and visuals, and I'm sure that probably gave a lot of people the chills.
Yeah,
we call them the McKees down in our neck of the world.
We're used to running out of the tunnel at the field house, which is great, but like you said, bringing football back to River Valley.
River Valley homecoming.
Bringing it back to campus, we felt like we needed to do something a little different, and it was electric.
Yeah,
for sure.
it seemed like it was, and there is something magic about it.
Yeah, yeah, it was unreal.
I always tell the story. Well, for me, you have 5 home games. You got to make the most out of them.
Yep.
And when I played a couple years ago, you didn't know what you were getting. 30-mile-an-hour winds, 110-degree early season day, bug infestation, whatever
there we go.
it was.
There it is.
And, I mean, take a look at that, Coach. That's got to be, obviously, it was that right before kickoff doing national anthem. And then we had one of the stands.
Yeah.
And it was really a fun scene, and I'm sure it gave everybody exactly what they were looking for.
Yeah, and it's special because now we have the ability to play those Friday night light games at our facility. And our senior group, we have senior night coming up after the bye week, and they voted unanimously to play at our field again. So we'll be there for 2 games
Awesome
in a
to
row.
hear. Yeah.
Very cool. So with that being said, we'll get back to the actual football of that game. Let's jump into our recaps from this week. Coach, you were all over the place watching games,
Yes,
so I'll let
yes,
you
I
take the
was.
lead here.
In a crowded Bullhead City area with with a senior night and 2 homecomings, my game of the week pick was Baghdad versus Mojave Accelerated for the 1A West title. And
Which is experts. We both took Malk.
we both took Malk as experts, yes, which I'd like to point out. I will give Malk props. Took me a minute to find their home field. I love that their little home field setup, and probably the second best pregame after the field house. They have freaking fireworks going on.
Oh,
the
yeah.
lights are turned on and off, which just fine. You can turn the lights on and off now. Like the old days, you hit the breaker and you have to wait an hour.
Yep.
And then the game started.
And the fireworks stopped.
And Baghdad showed why they were the #1 team in 1A. Very interesting, using 2 different quarterbacks, a lot of scramble drill. They threw the ball efficiently, which I found impressive for a 1A school, and just Malk could not keep up.
Yeah. And, Coach, you inherited a Baghdad running back this year, right?
We did.
Yeah, you didn't have enough of them, so you're like, let me get another one.
Yeah.
But he plays like a Baghdad. I mean, tough, runs hard.
DJ's an incredible human first, and then a heck of a football player for us.
Yeah,
We're
he
very
really is.
fortunate to get him in our program.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you can kind of see where that style of play comes from when you watch Baghdad play. They are good year in and year out.
It is the culture of that town. That is, as talking with some of the parents in the stands at that game, that is all they have, sports.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
What else do you need? Why do you say it like that?
There's literally more to do in Kingman and Bullhead. Literally more.
And I actually was looking through Malk's schedule. They've actually played a pretty nasty schedule once that ranking came out.
Yes.
I think they played 2 top 5 teams.
And with this week's updated ranking, they did stay at number 10. And I firmly believe if Malk can win out the rest of the year, teams 5 through 8 get a home playoff game in the first round. So I think that's still on the board for Malk.
And they only have 2 games left this
2
year.
games
right?
left, yes,
Yeah.
correct.
So it's crazy. The season goes by so fast.
Yeah.
So fast.
I felt like we just did this, 1 episode just what the hell because it'd be fun. And
Right.
then now here we are halfway through a season.
Yeah.
We're actually past the midway point, and really shaping up to be a fun year. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So moving on to our next game, Wickenburg visited River Valley. Coach, recap that one for us.
Well, first of all, we have a ton of respect for the Wickenburg coaches and players. They've had
Bolton Bloor just blanking in the office or what?
they've had
don't feed
some
'em nothing.
they've had some incredible teams the last couple of years, and they've played us real tough. Overtime last year at the field house. They're dealing with some things that I don't wish on any program. I do think Coach Crossland is the right guy for that job, the interim right now. So hopefully he's able to get that gig moving forward. But yeah, I mean, we think our guys are pretty good, and
Well, that new scoreboard agrees.
yeah, it was a good opportunity for our guys to play in front of our home fans, and offensively when we can get off tackle, that means the world to us. Everything else kind of falls into place. You get the quarterback run game going. Mick looked good. Receivers looked good downfield. Offensive line was digging and scratching in the backs.
Montgomery had a great first half.
Yeah, and that's the other thing,
First
right?
quarter.
Like we try our hardest when the games are decided to get our guys in. It's
Right.
important to us. It's just really hard when you stop handing the ball to Aiden and you start handing the ball to Brody, and it's just as if not more explosive. So it was a tough spot for Wick to be in. We don't wish that on anybody, but yeah, our guys looked pretty good on Friday.
So what was the halftime score?
Oh gosh, 50 something.
Did you see that?
58.
There was like a mini riot because some team put up 100 points.
I did see that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how you get there
Yeah.
without really trying to pour it on somebody, which again is not our intention. But you have young guys in there; they want to play.
Yeah.
So you can't tell them to not score.
Right. No, you can't. At the end of the day, like, the other team has to tackle you.
Right.
And you can't teach them to tackle.
Yeah, and the running backs we've talked about it before. Death Taxes and River Valley running backs.
Yeah,
those are the only guarantees.
Yep, and just
There
looking at
isn't.
some of these stats here, 8 carries, 106 yards, 4 touchdowns for Aiden, and then Brody Abell, 5 carries, 166 yards, Long of 61, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, he had a 60-yarder and a 50-yarder. Again, that's a credit to Ethan Robinson doing a lot of good work as the blocking back. The offensive line really getting after it in the run game, and then when on a lot of Brody's carries, Aiden's the lead back. So a kid that really wants the football in his hands. We have some unselfish guys
Well, I tell you,
that'll
when you
block
have
for each
that,
other.
You sure do know I'm going to block my butt off for you because you're going to have to block your butt off for me.
Yeah. And Coach Montgomery's done a great job with that running back room. They're all playing at a really high level, so we have a lot of confidence no matter who's getting the ball.
Yeah. Very, very exciting. And now you're on a bye, so I'm assuming you got some key guys out. You got them some rest. You got a bye week. You got a little extra time. You Seton Catholic next.
Seton Catholic next.
Who looks like they're kind of finding a little bit of their way also. They've won some good games, lost some tough ones.
Yep.
And that's a crucial game for you guys.
Yeah, and I'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the defense a little bit. I know Wick was down, but a shutout is a shutout in high school football. Deke is playing really well up front. I really think Riley Gonzalez is probably not getting enough attention at safety. He's doing a heck of a job buying into what we're asking him to do. The cover kids were sticky all night, but yeah, heading into a game with Seton Catholic, I mean, they made the playoffs last year in 4A.
Yeah.
And then
get
find their
knocked
way in 3A, and they're number 11 right now, as they should be. They're a heck of a club.
Yeah.
They have really good stuff on film, so it's going to take a good week and a half of preparation.
So that 3A group's really interesting because you've had some good teams beat some good teams. You've had some teams that beat a couple of teams and then go to Thatcher and lose. And
Sure.
Which we know Thatcher's Thatcher.
Yep.
Seton Catholic went to Round Valley, got beat up pretty badly.
Right. And so that's a really competitive, and it's probably a lot of fun putting that puzzle together. How'd they do this? What happened there? Have you spent any time I know you're a week-to-week coach.
Yeah, I
Have
mean,
you spent any time looking at any of those?
we see the scores week to week. We have an idea of where people are going to end up, but it doesn't matter if we don't get into the dance.
Exactly. Yep.
So the things that we want, like I said, are in front of us, but it's going to require, a lot of focus and effort these last 3 weeks. Seton, Catholic, Payson, and Dysart, those are all good teams. Dysart's probably a playoff team. They've had some tough ones early, but we have a ton of respect for that club too.
Right. And you don't really, much like yourself, your team is not a reflection of your record per se. And a lot of other teams have that too. And, I don't know that any of these teams do, but like we saw that Mesa team get 4 or 5 transfers, and they're a completely different team now.
Right.
And that does happen in the 3A world. I remember Paradise last year had 4 or 5 guys in street clothes who then played later in the year that were all transfers.
Yeah.
And so it does happen in 3A, especially with
definitely
Valley
something,
Christian, those schools there.
It's definitely something that happens much more in the Valley, but it does on occasion happen around.
Yeah, we
here,
don't
too.
exactly have transfers flying into.
Right.
There's definitely 1 or 2 kids in Kingman every year that transfer between the 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no way of knowing that. Obviously, we can only just watch the tape and see what they present there for
Well,
us.
you get on Instagram, they'll tell you who transfers.
I'm not on Instagram, so maybe you'll have to tell me.
You're missing out, Coach. It's absolute chaos. It's wonderful. Like Facebook is kind of still pretending like it's a nice world.
Right.
Instagram shows you the real world, and then X is just utter chaos.
Right.
So, and I know you do, but you probably don't spend a lot of time interacting.
No,
that's
I'm
more
a
your
lurker.
world. But you'll look in the comments, and you just have coaches going after each other on X.
That's great. Yeah.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
They all see each other.
We're not about that world, but
You're a smarter man than I am.
All right. Well, moving on to our next game from this week. Kingman visited Odyssey Institute.
The old Oi.
Came away with the 21-13 victory. We both picked the Bulldogs to win to improve our scores this year.
And honestly, that's a pretty good outing by Odyssey. I thought there was a chance that Kingman offense, that kid's a very talented quarterback, could have got loose, and he's a handful. You guys played him. That kid's, got
phenomenal
better throwing
athlete.
the ball.
Yeah.
Very good with his feet. Really, really a good quarterback, especially at that level. I thought there was a chance that Kingman could have really ran away from Oi on this one.
Yeah, my time at Kingman, historically, some of these road games with good opponents, they do give Kingman issues, and I'm just happy to see that they came out with the win, especially after that tough double overtime loss a couple weeks ago to Shadow Mountain.
Yeah, this would have been another one that would have absolutely haunted them, but I'm glad they came out, pulled it out. You played Kingman. They played tough football.
Yeah, we played both. Odyssey is much improved from last year. They're a lot more disciplined, a lot more focused, I think, a lot more efficient. And Kingman presents a ton of problems. Bush is a special athlete. So this game probably went about how we would expect, being it close. Either could have won it. But, yeah, it's a good showing for the 3A West.
It is nice to see a team like Odyssey that has not had a great little stretch show that improvement. Because that means they're sticking with it. They're building their program. They're improving. They're playing everybody tighter than they were. I don't know if they're senior heavy or if they're young or what the case is, but it's good to see a trajectory of a program going up, especially one that has had a tough time.
Yeah, Coach Olson's doing a heck of a job. Had a chance to visit with him before our game with them. Things are moving in the right direction for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So glad Kingman won. Happy to see Odyssey. And you said they had to travel too? Where is Odyssey? It's on the other side of the state, right?
It's
near Buckeye,
It's
right?
near Buckeye, yeah.
Oh,
Them
okay.
and Paradise Honors are fairly close to each other.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well,
So
there's 4 schools in that block.
They're in northern half of town. And in Odyssey, it is nice to see them turn around because they were the only high school that decided not to play the 2020 season. That mess of a year.
Yeah, and that hurt them, really. Other kids decided to go
A lot
elsewhere.
of kids transferred out, and they got a free pass. Great game, though, by DeAnthony. 21 carries, 110 yards rushing and a touchdown. 7 for 16, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. It has been awesome to see DeAnthony improve as a passer this year. It's something I definitely felt like at my time at Kingman with him is we could have been a little better at that. And it's just awesome
So I'll
to
ask
see the
both
game
you
improve.
guys, because you both come from really run-heavy programs. It's got to be hard to commit time to developing the passing game when, A, it's not the biggest part of your offense or the focal point, and there's only so much time to, you're going to take away from what you really need to work on. How do you guys budget that time with a kid like that? I mean, Mickey's a very talented quarterback, but he hands the ball off 80% of the time.
Right.
You know, you get a kid like you want him running the thing.
Yeah.
You want to get all that action the other direction and hit him with a misdirection. You don't want him sitting in the pocket throwing the ball. How do you budget that time with a kid like that?
It's hard, but to me, you want the ball in his hands every play, which is why you put these athletes at quarterback. It's why this new age of modern offensive football, because you could call the wrong play.
Where the blocking got complex and the passing games got simple?
Yeah. You can call the wrong play, and he can make it look like the right play.
Yeah. I call that John Williams coaching. John dropped the ball, went for 50 yards.
Yes.
It's just the way we drew it up. It looked like Trevor Lawrence in that game the other night.
Obviously, Mick, for us, is incredibly talented, and it is hard. It's good you use the word budget because we call it time capital. You know, how much time can you spend on something that isn't necessarily the identity of your program? But what's special about Mick, and I'm so thankful for our conversations, is we call it speaking the language. And Mick and I can have these conversations, and he is very much like having the OC out on the field for us. He sees it the same way I do. We communicate about the run game the same way. And then he has a lot of freedom to talk about the pass game looks that he wants. And they're concepts that I believe he believes in. And we continue that conversation throughout the week and into Fridays. And it's just part of our process. But it is hard to balance that.
So what's a post-Mick River Valley look like? He's been there for
Yeah.
He's got to have full command. Like, that's not going to be easy to replace.
We have Seton Catholic next week. And that's about as far as we're
get you
looking.
a cut-off hoodie. You can give us the Belichick.
That's about as far as we're going with the guys like Mick and Deke and Adrian and Riley and all those other 14
That's a special
seniors
group
we've
of
got.
kids that you really do want to soak all of that time in and drag that playoff out as long as possible.
And that's what we're doing. That's as far as I can see right now.
I like it. I like it. So we have another really interesting game to talk about.
Yes, milestone.
And I hope that Coach Thompson is available because we're talking about Havasu Buckeye Union, another big Havasu win. Havasu's having a hell of a run.
Yes.
So I don't know if you're in communication with Coach Thompson, but we're hoping to hear from him today. He just hit his 100th win. Coach Jeff, if you have that, call everybody Coach. I'm going to be calling all the customers Coach here pretty soon. If you have that Coach Thompson graphic, what an accomplishment.
Yeah, 100th win. There, look at that.
Listen, it is hard to win 100 games. It is hard to stay at a place long enough to win 100 games.
Yeah. Sure.
So super big accomplishment, and hopefully we can get him on the phone. But Havasu continues to play good football, and they're in a good position to make a run too.
They are. And last I saw, BJ Medium had him at number 5 in their 4A rankings. The true 4A rankings don't come out till next Tuesday, but they're looking good. I'm excited to see Trip Burke has been impressive these last couple of weeks. Having him back at quarterback has changed everything for him.
We had talked so much about Halo playing nice quarterback, and then you could see why they like Trip Burke because it's far more organized and less chaotic. Where I enjoyed the Ben Roethlisberger of Halo winging it and running and creating plays. He's sitting there throwing on time. We talked a little bit about him managing that game. He threw smart passes to his athletes, got them in position, and ended with 6 touchdowns. Not this last week, the week before, 6 touchdown passing performance. So you could see why they want that kid in the pocket.
Yeah, absolutely. Trip Burke, great game. 17 for 28 passing. Oh, what is this?
That's your phone call.
No, bear with us. We're gonna wing this.
Hey, Coach, how you doing today?
Your mic on?
Good. How are you all?
Doing great. Congrats on the 100th victory.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, it was a very, great night. The Knights were playing well, and it's been a fantastic journey from 1 to 100.
Yep, absolutely. So you've been there since 2009.
Yeah, I've been the head coach since 2009. I started coaching for Lake Havasu High School back in 1999.
1999. Impressive. So what made you decide to leave West Virginia for Havasu?
You know, it's kind of interesting story. I actually left West Virginia and got to Miami, Florida before I came out this way. I played baseball down there at Miami-Dade Community College and then at Barry University, and then that's where I met my wife. It was Carrie Kupfer. She graduated from Lake Havasu High School in 1993. So we met down there, and Lake Havasu is where we moved.
Well, that is
The
awesome.
old Miami-Dade to Havasu. That's a story we've all heard, right?
Right.
Coach,
Went
this Shane.
from hot and wet to hot and dry. I don't think I could go from one extreme to the other.
No, I think going back to the humidity would probably be a little too much for everybody. But I wanted to ask you something. You mentioned about getting that first win versus that 100th. Which one was sweeter, the first one or the 100th?
You know, they were both good. But before becoming
Oh, we're getting Fort Mojave internet service here.
Oh.
We lose them?
before that, but number one was La Jolla. That was back in '09. It was our third game of the season. We dropped an early one to Yuma. There was a shootout. We lost to Kingman 14-7 that week 2. And just to get that first one back then against La Jolla was good. I mean, they had a really good running attack. I had a really good group of guys that had been with me there. You know, we had I'd say about 50 guys in Havasu football playing for us back in '09. A lot of good guys there, but, you know, also with this group, I guess I have a little different connection. Most of the guys that play for me now, I'm actually sitting in my game room at my house. I have coached them in something else before I got to coach them in football. You know, I've coached them in either Little League, youth soccer, Parks and Rec basketball, and I've gotten to follow them all the way along with my older son being a senior this year. All of those guys have been over to the house. You know, it's just a little different connection, and to be able to go out on the field and have that excitement. And, you know, I'm going to give my offense coordinator, Riley Freeland, I don't know what he was running in those offensive meetings, but every player was dialed in. I didn't mention a word to the team. I'm pretty, you know, in that case, they had a little secret plan for me, and they got me good after the game.
Well, we love to hear that. I love that you remember all the games leading up to and all the little details. That's the kind of stuff I like to hear. I do want to ask you about this year's Lake Havasu team. I mean, playing great football, you're in a great position. You talk about having a little extra connection. Is that maybe the secret sauce to the success this year?
Well, I think it is. You know, a lot of this group, and, you know, this is true of Mohave County football because all of us have been there. We've all had those rebuilding years, and we always had to ask guys to step up probably before they were ready just by sheer numbers. And that's
true.
what happened to this group from that. When we went 22-23, we made that great playoff run to the semis. We had 25-plus seniors on that team. And then that next year to kind of, you know, empty the barrel a little bit, we had to take 25 sophomores that had to come and play in a very, very competitive schedule. And, you know, for a couple of those guys, I think 2 of them, with Ashton Given, he's one of our inside linebackers, and Trevor Thompson, my son, they both came up as freshmen and were a part of that group. And then now for them to rebuild, and a lot of them have 3 or 4 years of varsity experience, and now they're kind of into their own.
Yeah, I experienced that early in my time at Mojave, and I think Coach King has recently talked about it today where he's had some young guys he had to bring up. We do have Coach King with us here today. So, Coach, you got anything for Coach?
It's a heck of an accomplishment, Coach. 100 wins, the longevity. I remember coaching against you when I was at Mojave. A ton of respect for what you've done in that program. I just want to say congratulations.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, and you know how it goes, and all of you in that room. It takes a lot of dedication by a lot of coaches, a lot of players, and a lot of travel. I mean, being out here in the western part of Arizona, where no one knows about us doing anything until we show up, and they're like, "Who are these guys?" Especially after we get in there and take it to some of those teams and down in the valley. But you know, it's a lot of time and effort. You know, I'm very lucky that my family is a coaching family. My wife coached softball and volleyball at Lake Havasu High School. She coached in Florida before we came out here. My dad was a basketball coach forever. So, you know, everything revolved around that in sports. And all 3 of my kids, they've done the same. But I've been very lucky that they've been very supportive. My in-laws in town, so if they had to watch the kids because we were doing
It really does take all that.
That's what it does. You need all that. And you have to have like-minded families that want their kids to be dedicated and be a part of something special. That's what we talk about, and that's the experience we try to get.
Man, tallying up 100 wins is something. I'd like to tally up the miles he's logged on a bus.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have a statistics guy on that staff, Coach? Could you get him to tally up how many miles you've traveled?
Well, so I'll have to work on that. One time I got bored on the bus because I've been the head coach of football like I said, since '09. Did it for 25 years. I've coached girls basketball, boys basketball. I assist in baseball right now, helped in softball. So I got bored one time, and it was over 600 trips on what I call the cheddar melt on the bus.
So, Coach, we're about to talk about this Buckeye Union game. Give us a little bit of a recap of that game. You guys are playing good ball. You're getting some healthy bodies back. I know you had some guys out. You know, I'm a big fan of your quarterback situation. It's fun on both sides. Tell us a little bit about that Buckeye game.
Well, it's been a little bit of a revolving door with injuries, and we've dealt with a lot of sickness over the last couple of weeks. But we've had a lot of different guys step up. We knew going in, Buckeye's always a very talented and tough-nosed program. I mean, we've battled with them for the last 8 years, and it's always been a good back and forth. They have a good group of athletes. They've got some big bodies on that offensive and defensive line. But we'd seen they had a little bit of a quarterback carousel themselves, going back and forth between wanting to be more of a passing attack with a lot of screen game or a lot of rushing attack with a lot of quarterback runs. So we had prepped all week for that. Our defensive line has done a tremendous job getting after people. Coach Ted Darnell's back with me on staff. He's done a good job with those guys. We're too deep in there, and the defensive line has been the difference for us. I mean, we kind of went with a different front to kind of offset their counter scheme, which we gave them fits in the first half. Owen Merrill was in the backfield multiple times with tackles for losses. He plays our 3-tech. He's 6'4", probably 225, very athletic. Did a good job with that. Linebacker core, they held up guys, got after him, but we knew that we needed to take something away. So we were trying to take away the quarterback run. We did a good job of that in the first half. Offensively, we knew that we wanted to get our screen game going to move the perimeter, and even taking a couple shots downfield with Tripp being back there. But doing that opened up the running game. Kyle Crow and Tristan Andrade both had 10-plus touches on the night, and I think they combined for over 200 yards rushing. So just a very balanced attack. And great special teams play, kicked a field goal, made some point afters, and again, good coverage down the field.
Field goal in high school is a big win.
Big deal.
Big win in high school, you kick a field goal. Yeah. Coach, we were fortunate enough to watch that Lee Williams game in person, and your defense really did ratchet up and was kind of the difference maker in that game. You guys put up a lot of points. Do you think that defense is probably a little undervalued in the football world?
Well, we've done a good job of trying to take certain things away from teams. And that group that I talked to earlier about being that sophomore group, I have 9 guys, 9 returners on that starting defense from the last 2 years. So now they're into year 3, adding back a little more depth with some of our younger guys getting in the mix. But they've done a good job creating turnovers. Coverage has been sound. I think we're at 15 interceptions on the year. They've done a good job, and that's hand in hand with a good pass rush, trying to put pressure and making decisions faster than they want to do. But again, in the run game, those guys have done a good job of squeezing gaps, not getting upfield, and they have a willingness. They know that sometimes they have to eat a double team. Linebackers have done a good job filling, and they kind of are a no-name defense, even though there's lots of good players, but they want to play as a collective group to get after. I
Beautiful.
think our radio guys call them the purple of a boob or something.
That is a great nickname.
That is great.
I like that.
Yeah.
So, Coach, I don't want to dictate all the conversation here. I'd just like to say congratulations. It's really an amazing accomplishment. And as a kind of an outsider looking into the general football community, man, doing it for a long time and doing it at a high level, having some great teams. And we talked earlier before we went on camera about the value of a good coach and what that provides to a school, a community, and to a bunch of young men and ladies when you're coaching basketball. It's much appreciated, and congratulations.
Well, I appreciate you guys giving me this call and letting me be a part of this, and everything you're doing for all the kids in Mojave County to get them recognized and giving them a shot and giving them the praise that they deserve.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach. We appreciate that. good luck against Deer Valley this week.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep, have a good one.
Take care.
All right. Well,
Hopefully everybody could hear okay. Man, love talking ball with the football coach.
yeah.
Unreal.
Awesome.
Unreal. Being there since 09.
Oh, 9.
Yeah.
At the
You know,
school
I
since
love
99.
hearing him talk about his team. You know, all the things you want to hear. You know, you pick up those little pieces about what they're doing schematically, guys buying into it, and then knowing that they were without their quarterback and they won a tough Lee Williams
Right.
game who's rolling like that.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good thing, and then the guy picks up his 100th win in the middle of all that.
Unreal.
Pretty awesome.
Unreal.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep.
So,
So,
with
moving
that being said, congratulations, Coach. Coach King, you'll be doing this 100th call in no time.
yeah. might be a little more gray here, but
That's,
yeah.
There better be some more gray. You get 100 of these. So.
That's looking a lot farther past
Yeah.
next week.
Oh, that's right. We're week to week. Sorry.
All right. So moving on to our next game, Desert Star visited Highland Prep on Thursday night, and Desert Star got back on track.
All right. Let's go. I'll tell you, I was looking over Desert Star. Their rankings came out too. They have played a murderer's row.
Yes. And that is interesting. I did look at the rankings today. So in 2A, the top 24 go to the playoff. And Desert Star at
Let's
2
just let
and
them all
5.
in. What the hell?
Well, there's like 60 schools in 2A, which is part of the problem. But Desert Star at 2 and 5 this year is currently sitting at 29, only 4 spots out of the playoff.
So, Coach, I don't know if you know this. I'm petitioning for Desert Star to have a senior night.
With their 4 juniors.
They have no seniors. I think it would be
So
hilarious.
they'll get two. They'll get junior night and then senior night next year.
Yeah, just go out and have a senior night. Have the other school just be like, "What the hell's going on here? There's no
Right.
seniors here."
Yeah, that's
So,
something.
Desert Star is. I actually have a picture. I'll show you guys because I'm nostalgic and it just made me laugh. But I saw this popped up on my memories. I don't know. So this is my son's freshman year, and I don't know.
Pretty much that camera right
Oh,
next
there we
to
go.
you, Shane.
Put it-
Right next to you, right?
Put it in front of my face.
Yeah.
Yep, there you go.
It says, "Man, tough year." I says, "Tough year, my boy. I'm proud of you. Proud of all the guys. The wins will come." And that's what Desert Star reminds me of right now. You know, they're doing the right things. They're finally getting some wins. They've got a tough run, but they have brighter days ahead. You know, they got a little bit of a tough road until they get there. But every time I see Desert Star, they play good ball. They got a great coaching staff. They got good kids, and they just got to get older.
Yeah, it is. It's
tough
just,
to do without
it's a youth
seniors.
thing, and they're going to get better, and they've gotten better every week. Jacob Williams, great game, 12 for 16, 236 yards throwing, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I believe they had a guy have 2 pick sixes, if I recall correctly. Yes, Connor Lowe had 2 pick sixes in the second half. Great defensive effort, shut him out.
Congratulations, young man. That is, you know, the pick sixes seem to be growing on trees around here lately.
Yes.
It seems like we're getting pick sixes every week.
Right.
But
I love
congratulations.
to see it. Congratulations. I know those wins are, you know, man, boy, they're valuable when you're struggling. You know, when you're losing a few in a row, those wins really, really feed the locker room. I don't know. You probably have not experienced that at River Valley yet, but I know at Mojave.
Certainly at Mojave. It was tough sledding there for a number of years.
Right.
Thankfully at River Valley, they don't know a whole lot about losing down
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. You know, but it's so good for the kids because they work just as hard in most cases, and the wins don't always show up the same. So, congratulations, guys. Look forward to seeing what you got. Hopefully, you know, you do slip in, get those kids some playoff experience. You know, I think they have a couple of tough. Do you have their schedule? You got I think they have a couple tough games.
They
coming up
do.
still.
They have the current number 1 in 2A is Virtus Prep, and that is their game this week.
Helps the strength
Yeah.
of schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Have
their
fun,
strength of
Coach.
schedule has been impressive this year. They've
It's
played some
nasty.
tough teams. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, for being way up here in the middle of nowhere, they sure do find time for a lot of tough games for these guys.
Yeah.
You know, you guys got a brutal schedule.
Yeah.
Havasu got a tough one.
For sure.
You know, and even, you know, we talk about traveling to the valley, but the rest of these travel is up to Flag. I mean, that's
Right.
not any closer.
Right.
Right.
You know, well, cooler, I guess, but not any closer.
Yeah. That or Chino Valley.
Yeah, Chino. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's always a good time.
Yep. But moving on to our next game, Kingman Academy played St. John Paul and lost 22-16. Close, tough loss for them. We do not have stats from that game, unfortunately. But Academy is now 1-6. They are not eligible for the playoffs because they are in the independent region, which is a thing that 2A has. And we knew this going into the year. The Academy is a little undermanned, similar to Desert Star.
They are, but they're not without talent. And so, it's a little bummer they don't put in the stats because I do know they have some talented kids. And it looked like it's a competitive game. Love to shout those kids out, but can't really talk about what we don't know.
Right.
So.
We've scrimmaged the Academy the last couple years. We have a lot of respect for what Windecker's doing with that program. We like their kids. It's tough to see them struggling like this, but you hope they see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Right. We do know that they do have a couple of, I don't want to say easier opponents, but
Winnable games.
winnable games coming up.
We
yes.
talked early in the year about, games that, are uphill battles, the ones you need to win,
Right.
the ones you could win, and the ones you better not lose.
Yeah.
And they're coming into some of them 50-50 games or even maybe favorable
Yeah.
games where you can build on some things, have some moments. If they're not really in the playoff picture anyway,
Right.
That's what you're playing for. You're playing for
Yeah.
pride, the memories, the experience, and all those other things. So look forward to seeing them get some greener pastures ahead.
Yes. So moving on, Lee Williams visited Westview, and the Vols continue to roll.
Yeah. They are playing good ball. I don't know. I know that you are at River Valley now, but you were not there when Coach Regan was there.
Right.
Got them playing good football.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a few conversations with Coach Regan, know of him more than knowing him personally, but did get a chance to see them on film because they played Wick early in the year. Those kids are playing hard. They're playing disciplined football, a ton of respect for what they're doing. And the Grand Canyon region, as you know, that's a tough region. Excited to see how they finish out the year up there.
Yeah, me too. I think that it's really interesting that Havasu game was so tight, and that may have some implications later in the year as that 4A picture comes together, because that really was a back and forth game. Lee Will jumped out early, a couple pick sixes, both sides.
Yeah.
And now they're both rolling, and so it's really interesting to see. I am assuming the regular cast of characters had a good game.
The regular cast of characters, Morgan Quinn had a solid outing, 8 for 10, 156 yards throwing the ball, 2 touchdowns. Lucas Least, of course, another 18 carries, 159 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Morgan Quinn added a rushing touchdown as well.
Yeah, I saw Big Coop had a big catch down the sideline.
Big Coop had a great catch, 6 catches, 113 yards, 2 touchdowns.
It's another day in the office.
Another day in the office. The defense is continuing to turn over the ball. They're doing a great job.
And we talked about it before. They do have a couple tough games, including they've got one coming down to the field house in a few weeks. And but they're sitting pretty in that region.
This 3-game stretch they got starting this Friday is going to be the deciding factor on whether or not they are a playoff team.
Yeah. And I have watched enough of that to know that that region is relatively up for grabs. Mojave could have won some of those games they lost. Some of those teams have beat one another. They're all pretty good.
Right.
Some are down. Was it Bradshaw is down this year?
Prescott seems to be down. Bradshaw and Coco are still looking really good. It is interesting.
Someone's 0-6 in that.
Mingus.
Excuse me. Sorry, Bradshaw. Mingus is down. So, outside of them, it's a pretty competitive division.
Mingus is down. Flag's looking a little rough right now, but it's very interesting because Mojave, they had to play Bradshaw and Coco on the road. Lee gets them back-to-back at home.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's more of a matter of styles of play than anything. I think that they play really more in line with what that division plays, and Lee will. They're playing tough, solid ball, and they have a little bit more depth to do it. I think that we've talked
Yes.
pretty religiously that Mojave's going to go as far as their depth goes,
Yep.
as they are paper thin at every position.
And that is Lee Williams' one strength is they do, while there's inexperience, they have depth, which the other 7 schools can't really say a ton of.
And they're gaining experience more every week. And we had talked way at the beginning of our preview show that the Lee Williams team you see in the preseason would not be the team you saw when they played Mojave in that week and here in a couple weeks. So that may end up being a very interesting game.
Yep, absolutely. So moving on to the game that I ended up catching the second half for after I left the Mojave Accelerated game. I went to catch homecoming for Mojave, and boy, was I glad I did.
It sounds like you caught the better half of
So
the two.
it appears when I go to Mojave games, they consistently win. They never lose
Are
when I
you
show
the good
up.
luck charm?
I might be the good luck charm. I've been to 3 Mojave games this year. They've won all 3 now.
Appreciate you showing up.
Don't go to River Valley games, I guess.
Yeah, but we do have our Play of the Week and Player of the Week both came from this game. Player of the Week, I believe we have a photo of that, Jeff. Joe Yoni had a great game. First 7 touchdown performance of the year.
And did it from everywhere.
Yes. 4 passing touchdowns, 300 yards throwing, 10 carries for 99 yards, 2 more rushing touchdowns, and then our Play of the Week, his pick 6. Got to play a little bit of safety this
Yeah,
week.
which, you know, he probably hates when I say this. He is an extremely talented defensive back. He has probably only played 30 collective snaps.
There we are. Look at this. High points the ball.
Goes all the way back, all the way across the field. Look, at my favorite part, look, is that Big Andy?
Yeah. Look
This is, I mean, listen, Andy got a lot of big hustle plays. That kid just gave up.
Yeah.
You see that at the end? That drives me crazy. What would you do, Coach? See that guy just give up at the end?
It's a private conversation.
It's a very wise move. That is a Joe Yoni stat line. Not a lot of people can have stat lines like that. And that pick 6 was something special. What a play. Congratulations, Player of the Week and Play of the Week. I try to spread that love out a little bit, but it's pretty hard to argue with that.
It's pretty hard to argue against a 7 touchdown performance and the dominant second half that they had against Prescott, because that was a 28-28 game at halftime when I showed up, and it was all Mojave from kickoff.
Yeah. So obviously you didn't see the first half. What looked like was the difference in the second half? Obviously the defense must have changed something up, or
The defense changed. Prescott did have their quarterback back, which they didn't have against Lee Williams, which I felt like was a factor. But just, that is the best I've seen Mojave play all year. They were throwing the ball efficiently. They ran the ball well.
And I have a couple pictures in there, Jeff, of number 4. They got Nathaniel back this week.
Yeah.
And you know, yes. So, first of all, happy he's back. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the story, but I'm going to tell you about the kid. The kid is very talented, runs great routes, great hands, can play every position in the linebacker, defensive back, safety, slot, wide out. I mean, that's the player you want to have. Came back. I think he had a couple touchdowns. I'm not sure. I know he had at least one. And getting him back probably helped Joe quite a bit.
We think Nathaniel is criminally underrated in our program. We think the world of him. Like you said, he does it at every position. Yep. He's a high effort kid, plays within the scheme. He's always in the right spot. Ton of respect for Nathaniel.
Yeah, and having a versatile, kid like that when depth is an issue, because I know you can put him outside backer, you can put him at corner, you can put him at safety, you can put him almost everywhere. I wouldn't like to put him on the D line, but you can put him almost anywhere on the field, and he contributes, and he does not have any drop off. And the story of Nathaniel is that his sophomore year, he had a breakout season. You talk about being unrecognized. He did get some region recognition, but was never really the focal point of anyone. Some great plays, great catches. Junior year, he's one of the 5 broken collarbones we have that year. I believe it was against Paradise week 2.
Yep.
Missed the entire year. Comes back this year, tweaks a shoulder week 2 or week 1.
It was Havasu.
And has not been back since. And so, seeing him on the field makes me super happy.
Yeah.
Playing well is even. Don't pay any attention to whatever that is. We can't be on a show reading comments on another live broadcast. So.
No, it's ours.
It's our broadcast.
No, I know that, but we are broadcasting our broadcast on the live broadcast, so it's like super redundant.
Broadcastception.
Yeah. But Nathaniel coming back is huge and right at the right time. They really needed it, and that adds to the layers of that offense. Can you turn that down?
Get out of here, Jeff. Thank you.
Whereas now you don't have people focusing on Pedro. Now Tony can do what Tony does, and then all of a sudden you can run the ball. Jeremiah came back this week. All the pieces of the puzzle. Hopefully you're getting healthy. I believe they have a very winnable game this week.
Yeah, no, he showed up and he was an impact, especially in the stat sheet. 10 receptions, 115 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was the #1 receiver, especially in that second half.
Yeah, and really happy to see him back. If he didn't catch a single ball, I'd be just super happy to see him on the field. He's a good kid, had a tough run, a little bad luck. Last year was the weirdest year ever. I think we had 5 broken collarbones. I've never seen 5 broken collarbones.
Yeah, it's unreal.
Yeah.
And all different. You know, my son friggin' got pulled down on a block. Nathaniel dove for a ball. Joe took a hit. Gosh, who were the other ones? I feel like such a bad person now. But all different scenarios. Like, I sat there and I just thought, what did we do wrong? Did we drop too many barbells on their collarbones or something?
Right, yeah.
But it was all different scenarios. But anyway, the kid getting back on the field was good to see, and then to have a big win, their homecoming also. Mojave got a very important win at the right time.
And it's great to see because we all talked about that first 6 games for Mojave. Extremely tough schedule. And to me, getting out of those first 6 games 4-2, I consider that a win.
Yeah.
I would have considered going out of that schedule 3-3 a win. And to be 4-2, you're in prime spot for the playoffs.
Yeah. Not in a bad spot, and then I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I'm sure you knew Joe dislocated his non-throwing hand finger, split it wide open, had stitches for the first. I think he's got the stitches out now. I'd like to think that all those things coming together, he's a little more comfortable. It's hard to say. I have no idea what your level of comfort is with an injury on your non-throwing hand, but it's good to see him get back on track.
Yeah, their last 4 games is definitely more of an easier schedule, with the exception of one glaring exception, which we will talk about in a couple weeks.
Very excited. So, Coach, you guys held Mojave to 14?
7 offensive.
Yeah.
Gave him a free one on defense, but yeah.
That'll haunt you.
Yeah. No, I mean,
I'm not mad.
no, they. I mean, we feel really good about. I mean, we see that stat line. That's pretty standard for 12's ability, but I think that speaks to how we played them early in the year. We've got some dogs on the defensive side, and they stuck to the plan. And yeah, he's a special kid. We think the world of Jeremiah too. He's the straw that stirs the drink offensively. Really, he kind of opens up everything for Joe.
And it's not exclusive to anyone. We talked about injuries in your program as well.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Jeremiah goes down. Uriah steps up, starts running the ball pretty well, breaks his foot. Jeremiah comes back. Now you're back to him and Brody. If they could get everybody out there at the right time, and I'm sure broken foot and was unfortunately probably out for the year, is my guess. Maybe they get Caesar back at the end of the year. Oh, Caesar broke collarbone, I think. I forgot. Starting safety the last 3 years. It's just tough.
Yeah, I mean,
You don't have the numbers.
You got to be creative when depth is an issue. We certainly feel that, but when you've got a good group of guys, they find a way to do it.
Yep, absolutely.
So moving on, recap of our picks last week. How did we do? How did me, Shane, and the people do, Jeff?
Coach, you voting on these?
No.
You're on the X. Come on.
No.
He's on X.
No.
I still hold my 3-game lead. I believe we all picked the same games this week again, though.
I'm not prepared.
Public not so well. The public also picked Highland Prep and Desert Star to tie, so not sure what they're thinking there. So we'll move on to our first pick of this week. Mojave Accelerated on Saturday is visiting Colorado City to play El Capitan. That game is a go. El Capitan has missed a couple games this year because of the measles outbreak up there. It's crazy stuff, guys. It's crazy stuff.
Is that real?
I'm dead serious.
Okay.
That is a real thing.
I don't know what to say about that. That seems like an all clear, right?
Yeah, no.
I thought COVID was bad. What do you do for measles?
That's a great question.
You gotta go do a test real quick.
I'm pretty sure I
and put
took
your
that
mask
shot
on.
like when I was 0.
Oh boy.
I like Malk in this one. I think they get back
Taking the
on
measles
track.
by 3. No.
I like Malk in this one. Coach, who do you like?
I'm taking Malk. They have played tough. I don't know a lot about El Capitan, but if you've been dealing with measles, missing games, I'm guessing you're probably not bringing your best game. And coming off of a rough, probably a little bit of a pride hurt or loss, I'm guessing Malk's pretty fired up to play.
I think they'll bounce back. It is a tough drive, though. That is a couple state lines to
They're
get
all
across.
tough. Yeah. They're all tough.
Colorado
drives.
Cities make some of our drives
Yeah.
look nice.
So
by
you gotta go
comparison.
up through St.
You have
George
to
and
go
down.
through, Mesquite and St. George and down, yeah.
It'll be pretty
Who
dry.
do you like, Coach?
I'll stay local. I'll take Mel.
You'll
That's
take
what we
Mount?
do. That's
Okay.
the default.
All right. So moving on to our second week, Jarrett Starr versus Vertas Prep. Who did the people like, Jeff?
The people like, let's take a look.
Desert Star.
Man.
Important to note, Vertas Prep is current number 1 in the 2A rankings, 7-0. So I think they had a great win last week, but I like Vertas in this one. I think they take care of business at home.
Yeah. I'm going with Desert Star, we know, is just playing a little shorthanded right now, not in terms of the guys they have, but just not having the age and depth, and that's a tough game. Are they at Veritas as well?
They are at Veritas, yes.
Yeah, I'm taking Veritas because I can't afford to go down 4 games. So.
Yeah. It's probably
Sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
There's a steak dinner on the line, fellas. Who do you like, Coach?
I mean, it's tough to argue against the number 1 team. There's not going to be a whole lot of success found with a schedule like that.
That is an uphill battle. Thanks a lot, AIA. I'll say that for Coach Clark since I know
Right.
he wants.
So
And
moving
he
on.
shouldn't.
Kingman Academy, Gray Hills is visiting one of the 2 local games in the county this week. Gray Hills Academy is visiting Kingman Academy. What I do know about Gray Hills is that I believe they've only scored 2 points this entire season.
Sounds like a great day for Olave.
Actually, no, correction. They have scored 0 points this year. So I like the Academy in this one. I think Olave is going to have a great game, and I think the Academy wins big.
I'm not arguing with that. Unfortunately, I don't know anything about Gray Hills, but no points seems like a little bit of an indicator.
Gray Hills is one of the 2 high schools in Tuba City. Another tough drive. But luckily, they don't have to drive there. So
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the bus driver getting paid this year.
yeah.
That's good.
Who do you like, Coach?
Oh, I'll take Coach Windecker's group.
All right. So moving on to our other game, Mojave versus Flagstaff. Who do the people like, Jeff?
Let's take a look. Mojave Flagstaff, here we go. Woo.
Mojave big, and I agree with the people. Flag just not the same team after the quarterback Chase Brown tore his ACL a couple
it
weeks
seemed like
ago.
they were struggling a little bit anyway, but replacing quarterback is tough, and I think, Mojave getting healthy-ish. I think that they're probably getting better instead of worse as the season goes on, and I'm taking Mojave every week regardless, so
The
doesn't
NAU
make for
Dome,
much of a choice for me, but
the Sky Dome was friendly for Lee Williams. I believe will be friendly for Mojave as well.
yeah.
Who do you like, Coach?
I think Mojave will take care of business.
All right. So moving on, Lake Havasu, fresh off a 100th win for Coach Thompson, is visiting Deer Valley. And the people, who'd the people take, Jeff?
That I don't have for some
Oh,
Let's just assume the people chose wrong, give them an L next week, and
I'm 85% sure the people took Lake Havasu. I think this will be a closer game, a little tougher opponent, but I still like Lake Havasu to win this one.
is that
It is at Deer Valley. Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah. I'm taking Havasu. They're playing good ball. I'm going local. I don't think the 100th win will be a distract. Coach seems like he's locked and loaded, and that 100th win was just, right off of his
Yeah.
shoulder. So,
Icing on the cake, yeah.
yep. What
All
you
right.
think, Coach? You know anything
Oh,
about
I-
Deer Valley?
No, I think we'll get 101 this week though.
When
All
you're
right.
in doubt, vote local, or else you get dirty looks in Havasu.
Yes. And if you don't vote local, be right.
Yeah. We were at that Lee Will Havasu game,
Yeah.
and they're both local, and so
Sure.
we're like, oh,
Yeah.
I got a couple.
Got that one right. I
comments
picked
here and
against
there,
Lee
so-
Williams in the Prescott game, and I got some crap for that.
Yeah, that's
Yep. So moving on, our last game, our game of the week, Bradshaw Mountain is visiting Lee Williams. You got that one, Jeff?
you.
The people like Lee Williams, and I agree with the people. I think this will be a close game, but Lee Williams is a different team at home in downtown Kingman.
I think I saw they're doing a pink out.
They are doing a pink
I'll tell
out,
you what I
yes.
really like, and I have noticed it in several of the programs that maybe I would argue would call turnaround, is they seem to get collective buy-in, collective turnaround. They are getting community involved. They're doing all these things. They got their social media up. They're doing more collectively than they were in years past, and I don't know that the winning on the field is a result, but I think collectively it all feeds and helps one another, or helps itself. I'm taking Lee Williams. I'm riding that train all the way till the Mojave week, and I believe so. You guys are on a bye. Mojave's in Flag. I'm not driving to Flagstaff.
Yep.
I might have to go up and watch The
It's
league
the only,
game.
with River and Kingman on a bye, the only 2 local games this week is Kingman Academy, Gray Hills, and Lee and Bradshaw. So,
Well, I'm not going to Kingman to watch Gray Hills.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I'll tell you, my daughter is going out of town with her mother. Benjamin's in college. I'm going to be bored out of my mind. So I'll probably go watch that game. I'll go eat Five Guys before I go. And then
Had to say that.
I love Five Guys.
it is great. It is great.
It's the best $38 burger.
It
I've
is
ever
the
had.
best expensive burger. in
Shane's
Kingman.
about
I
food.
agree.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and then I'll probably sit on my ass and watch 12 hours of college football on Saturday.
Same here. Same here. I will see you Friday night then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who do you like, Coach?
I'll take Lee Williams.
You like Lee as well? All right.
So, Coach, you're on a bye.
Yes, sir.
How much of a break do you get? Do you take some time to recharge the batteries? Do you spend all that time to what's the River Valley off week strategy?
I mean, it's slightly abbreviated practices, but we've got a lot of work to do. You know, we're 4-3. We like how we've been playing, but if we want to get to where we want to be, it's going to take some refining of some of the finer details, and so that's what we're focused on this week. A lot of film and prep for next week. So, yeah, just diving into that.
How much film do you guys watch?
As a staff or as a team?
Well, I would say as a team, I assume the staff is watching. I remember, I'm not much of a cardio guy, but, you know, I'd be watching film while I was lifting weights. I'd be watching film at my desk. I'd be watching film. So I assume you're doing something similar.
Yeah.
But as a team, how much film are you guys watching?
Yeah, we're pretty lucky. Our district has leaned into the idea of getting our athletes into a last period weights class, so we can steal some time there. But you know, technology is incredible, so you can release all the film to the players. They have the last 2 of Seton Catholic. A lot of our guys watch on their own time. But yeah, as a team, we sit down, we go through it, and a lot of our focus though is always on ourselves.
Yep.
If we can improve what we are doing, then we feel like it shouldn't matter come Friday.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a great way to look at it. I don't know when. So, going back to youth football, we did watch film on youth football. We'd find Facebook posts. We'd find,
Sure.
and I was so amazed to find out that. Do you guys watch any film at the middle school?
It's very hard to find stuff.
Okay.
The only film I found was a couple academy parents I follow on Facebook. And now I'm trying to find stuff on Thunderbolt
Yeah,
in a
you
couple
find
weeks.
like
It's
mom
hard.
posting her highlights of her little baby,
Right.
like, oh, that left tackle doesn't move so good.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, yeah, that quarterback doesn't get much of a drop, you know.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's funny that film is such a big part of the game, and obviously a lot of people don't realize football's such a mental game, but you don't really teach kids how to watch film until they really get to the varsity level.
Right.
And you know, I had mentioned that it sounds crazy, but you really should hold like a football class and teach kids how to watch film. I don't know, you guys still doing a lot of stuff with Mohave Valley Junior High or?
Yeah, I mean, we're thankful that our district has partnered with Mohave Valley Junior High. I'm down there first period every day, getting to work with some of those young kids, which has been tremendous this year. But yeah, I mean, that partnership, working with those athletes, that's a big deal.
Yeah, that is something that I hope you're able to. I don't know who's coaching their team out there, but not watching film is important. Learning how to watch film is very important to young football player development. And like you said, it's not just about scheming for your opponent. It's every bit about as much learning about what you're actually doing.
Right.
You know, I remember during COVID, you were doing videos to send out to the kids for
Yeah.
physical education.
Yeah.
And I always laugh because you don't really know what you look like or how it's going until you see it.
Right.
And sometimes you think you're doing something you're not. And I was watching some of that Mohave game, and I sent Coach Chad this long, unsolicited text. You freaking 3rd and 2 on the goal line, and your guys are standing straight up, that, you know, and I'm just going off, you know, and he's probably sitting there going, yeah, I know. Like, I got it.
Right.
Relax,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
But I'm sure they thought they did a great job, you
Right.
know. So it's just a very important part of football, and I think I'm curious why more people aren't embracing it earlier, I guess is what I'm saying. So
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's more getting someone to film the games, especially in my
does
situation.
everybody have
it's only-
AI doing it now? We don't have cameras up there?
Especially
Is
in
that
my
not a thing
situation,
anymore?
we
They don't do
only
that?
practice 4 days a week. We can't really practice on Fridays, and we're practice 4 days. One of those days is usually a game. then we can't really do
That middle
Fridays.
school schedule's wild. I think.
Yeah.
Do you guys play today?
No, we don't play today. We have
I think Coach Clark plays middle school.
Coach
plays
Clark
today.
does have a game today, I believe, against Malk. And I know next week we have Wallace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So that middle school schedule's wild. You're like 2 days prep, a game,
No, like-
a random day, nothing for 3 days.
I know some schools do Fridays. We can't because our kids don't have cars and we don't go to school on Fridays. So.
It was one of the funniest things. We were doing the preseason, and dang it, you need to be here, and you're like, oh yeah, they don't drive.
Right.
Yeah.
Your mom's at work. They don't live near the school. What the
Yeah.
hell are you supposed to tell some of these
Right.
kids?
Yeah.
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
a huge family commitment getting
That's
their
definitely-
kids there.
Something Coach Thompson said is the collective commitment of his
Parents,
family.
yeah.
In-laws, wife,
Yeah.
kids. Like if you don't have everyone on board, it's tough sledding right there.
It's
Yeah.
huge. And people don't realize someone's gap. Like, I still remember coaching at Kingman High. Like, Kingman Unified School District is the largest geographical school district in the country. Our buses go Meadview, Oatman, Golden Valley, obviously, all the way to Wickiup.
That seemed like a problem.
Like,
No
half
thanks.
of the kids, that's something I learned a couple years ago. Half the kids in Wickiup go to Kingman High, the other half go to Baghdad.
Oh, you're kidding me.
It's weird. There's some weird
How many kids
charter
are
line.
Wiki up?
I want to say like 10.
Oh, okay.
But it's like, we're talking, yeah, but obviously like Valley
The
Vista.
10 of them can't
Peach,
get on the same
Peach
page where to go.
Springs, also in our school district, like we had kids from
How
Peach.
far's the ride to Baghdad from there?
From Wickiup? Oh gosh, I want to say like an hour maybe?
Wickiup is like fool's gold when you're on a road trip to Phoenix. You're like, all right, we're getting there. You're like, oh, it's
No,
just
it's
Wickiup.
not Wickenburg.
We got a long
It's
way
not
to go. We used to have to stop. I don't know what the bus travel situation is now. It was never great. But you used to have to stop there, and you'd be like, come on, man. And sometimes you had to eat your lunch
Right.
there, or if you were playing,
If you're heading to Flag, you got to stop in Seligman.
Seligman. Ashfork, yeah.
So anyway, Jeff, do you have that? This is super random. Do you have that video of that kid pancaking the other kid?
I don't.
All right.
Oh, okay.
I thought I sent it to you.
You might have.
Do you have the picture of the kid shaking the other kid's hand at dinner?
Let me see.
The Michigan thing?
I do have that.
Okay.
So let me tell the backstory
Okay,
real
go ahead.
quick. There's a video going around, okay, and I'd love to get your thoughts on it because I think
There you
it's,
go.
yeah. All right, I'll tell the backstory anyway.
Yeah.
So let me go back to the backstory here. Kid makes a block. Kid's blocking, falls down, jumps on him like a WWE wrestler doing a frog splash. Jumps as high as he can. The kid's huge, hurts the kid. Not a football play, but it is common in football. You see linemen do it all the time. Away from the play, doing a splash, pancake, or whatever. Kid gets hurt. I think we all agree we wish kids weren't doing that.
Right.
Like, that goes without saying. So, but I was really surprised by the reaction of the general public calling for this kid's head, figuratively speaking. I guarantee you his intent was not to hurt that kid. It is just a weird part of football, and it had a bad result. It's unfortunately part of the game injuries. That is outside of the game part of it. But people wanted this kid arrested. People wanted this kid, kicked out. And if you bring that picture up, I think they're JV players. These are like
Yeah, we're talking about 16-year-olds, yeah, sophomores.
16-year-olds. And you want to, it's just so crazy that we have all coached young men and know that they are in their infancy in life.
Right.
Yeah.
And you want to, the kid and the families can come together and forgive someone. And meanwhile, somehow the public has lost track of the fact that this is just some kid playing football.
Right.
I just don't know where we lost the humanity of these are kids playing football.
Yeah, it is important to still remember that they are kids. We coach high schoolers, or in some cases middle schoolers, but at the same time, it's a very emotional game. But we have to learn to keep it checked emotion. I still remember our game from 2023,
player wearing
your
number-
first year at River Valley, when we played you guys in that close game, and that second half kind of just fell apart for both of us.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
That is one of the games that I will never forget, and I questioned if I wanted to keep coaching after that, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like with everything, the best part of most things are the kids. It's
I got the play now.
it's the adults that screw it up.
Yeah, it's all right.
You don't want to see it now?
No.
Nah, that's all right.
You know, but so like I just try to play this out a couple steps ahead. Okay, you want to go arrest that kid, then what? He's out of school, then he's behind, then he's in the system, then he's whatever, and somehow the families can overcome. The kid get hurt. I think get a fractured vertebrae or something.
Vertebrae, yeah.
And somehow you see this in like all aspects of life where, you know, you just want to write off kids so fast. It's the craziest thing to me.
Everything's a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really odd. And, you know, I know that we have all seen firsthand the hardships of coaching kids. I mean, it doesn't matter what your walk of life is. These kids come from tough. You could be a rich kid and come from a terrible household. You can come from wherever. And, you know, just to see people react that way is really odd to me.
If you're working with kids, you have to believe in second chances. If we're not going to offer it to them, the world isn't going to.
Right.
You know, and I believe that there should be some punishment, there should be repercussions, there should be whatever, and there should be a path to redemption. There should be a way to redeem yourself. And just to think about the kids I've coached, you know, some knuckleheads who are doing good now, and you would have written them off at 15, 16 years old?
Yeah.
Right? Average life expectancy is close to 80, so the next 65 years he's nothing.
Right.
Yeah,
Can't happen.
It's very odd. And, you know, I guess I say all that because I want to clip this out and say that, man, have some perspective. You know, at the end of the day, my guess is I don't know if those either kids will ever play college football, but they're going to have a life.
Right.
You know, what kind of life do you really want them to have? And what do you think demanding that type of action is going to produce? You know, you want to put a 16-year-old kid and kick him out of school. And I'll be honest, I don't know the kid. It looks like he got a dad out there doing his thing, you know, for experiencing that forgiveness and graciousness. And but a lot of them don't. And where are you really pushing them to?
And that's the thing, like, as coaches, yeah, of course we love everyone to go play college football, but at the same time, we want them all to go to college. We're coaching them to be better dads, better boyfriends, husbands, uncles, just better members of the
people.
community. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we talk all the time about being a good teammate, and
Right.
a good teammate is everywhere. It's in athletics, it's at work, it's at home. That has to be the focus, and this is a good opportunity for everyone involved in that situation to lean into that idea, and it looks like the young men are already better for it.
Yeah, and that's the great part is it looks like they did, you know, and I just hope that other people get those chances where it doesn't seem like everyone does. It's
Right.
pretty weird. So,
Yeah.
sorry to go off on a side note there. I do enjoy a good side quest. Coach, really glad you took some time to come out. It's really cool. You guys, you're gonna have a second game out at River Valley, and you know, we don't like complimenting you while you're here. We try to do it when you're not in studio.
Appreciate
but, we're anticipating you guys being a lot of fun to follow in the playoffs. We just lost our camera.
Yep.
We expect you guys to really be fun to follow. Whereas I'm confident you're gonna sneak in, and nobody wants to play River Valley week 1 of the playoffs. So
Yeah, we
looking
hope
forward to it.
We hope that's the case. We believe in our guys, but you know, as always, we got to take it one game at a time, and we got to earn the right to be in that conversation.
This is why these coaches don't go back to coaching. It's way easier to sit out here and just
it's
talk wild long term. I got you guys getting into the playoffs and about this seed, going wherever.
I got you
see
going.
you beating this team.
I appreciate that. I appreciate
7-3. 7-3. Yep.
Yeah, very cool. So, gentlemen, a lot of fun. I'm really glad we got to talk to Coach Thompson.
Yep.
That was cool.
That was awesome.
And we'll do this for Coach King in a couple of years.
Couple years.
What's the
One
count?
week at
What
a
are you up
time.
to?
One week at a time.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thanks for the
Appreciate it.
invite.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
guys.
Have a good one, guys.
We'll see you next week.